You cannot be the greatest basketball player of all time if you have a losing record in the NBA Finals. Las Vegas had the Dallas Cowboys slated with the 6th best odds to win the Super Bowl this upcoming NFL season. And that is laughable. Dallas is not even a top 6 team in their own conference. I'm not taking the bait this year. I'm not buying into this poo-poo with the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, I'm just not, man. Let me not poo-poo Jameis Winston too much more. Alabama's not slowing down anytime soon. You have to answer this question right or you're going to die. Will Alabama win a national title in the next 4 years? If your answer to that question was yes, you proved my point. This idea that the Packers need to look to their future to replace Aaron Rodgers as of right now, it's baloney. It's fool's gold. That's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs thinking, in my opinion, okay? I was shocked. I was disappointed. And I became disgusted with the Packers. But their best pick was Jalen Hurts. I don't care what anyone says. And I'm so sick and tired of Eagles fans moaning and crying and being upset saying, we took Jalen Hurts too early. You're going to thank me later. You're going to come back to me and say, you were right when Jalen Hurts is adding a new dynamic to your offense. LeBron James, as I speak today, he's disqualified from being named the greatest basketball player of all time. I think not. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are the standard of football anymore, just like I don't think McDonald's is the standard of fast food anymore. It's still a popular brand, but not quite as popular as it used to be. So that's where I'm at with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're McDonald's. They're the McDonald's of football. Well, they're walking on eggshells. They're saying, I'm scared to criticize Patrick Mahomes. We can blame the offensive line. We should blame Andy Reid. No, Patrick Mahomes in this game, he choked. No matter what that player does, if they spit on their mom's shoes, they'll blame the wind on it. They'll say, this quarterback can do no wrong. You read these headlines, you read what the pressers are saying, all you'll hear is, poor is me, Russell Wilson. Pete Carroll stinks. How can you call that passing play, Pete Carroll? You stink. You should be fired. If you have not won a single playoff game, you are disqualified from the best quarterback in the NFL conversation. You are disqualified from being top 3 at your position as a quarterback. A defense that can't stop a nosebleed in the NFC title game, that gives up nearly 300 yards rushing to an undrafted player named Raheem Mostert. I mean, the guy's name sounds like a priest, for crying out loud. I mean, Reverend Mostert runs all over the Packers. The Jacksonville Jaguars, aka the Cleveland Browns of the South, the Golden State Warriors became a dynasty because of Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, to me, is the most talented scorer in NBA history. I don't think Mike McCarthy's all that great of a head coach. And listen, when you're going from Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers to Dak Prescott, a.k.a. Dak Bortles, listen, that is a huge drop-off. So ever since Dak Prescott's rookie season, 7-15 versus teams above 500. That's not cutting it. There's been some reports that the Packers, for whatever reason, are fatigued with Aaron Rodgers. No one ever says that the Patriots were fatigued with Tom Brady. Why is this coming out about Aaron Rodgers? I believe Aaron Rodgers is the most valuable player in the entire NFL. Slowly but surely, the excuses are running out for Aaron Rodgers. If you look at your screen, George Kittle is wide open, but Jimmy Garoppolo does not throw him the football. They give the football back to Patrick Mahomes because Jimmy Garoppolo did not execute that passing play. He just didn't throw to George Kittle. He didn't see the entire field. I don't know why. It will baffle me why he did not make that throw. But again, Jimmy Garoppolo, once again, not being good enough situationally. But the question is Ben Roethlisberger an all-time great quarterback? No. I'm going to say the answer is no to that question. And we've seen Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. We've seen that act. I saw that circus act last year. Lamar Jackson, when he was down 16 points to the Tennessee Titans, I felt the game was probably over. When Patrick Mahomes was down 20-0 to Houston, I didn't think the game was over. I still felt Kansas City had a chance to win that game because I know what Patrick Mahomes is all about. Lamar Jackson has shrunk under pressure in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes, he's gotten better. I'm not a Marcus Mariota fan. I'm not a buyer in this guy. I don't care about you Titans fans getting mad at me saying, oh, Marcus Mariota's good. Marcus Mariota's good. Prove it! Prove it! How come the same voters that are keeping Barry Bonds out of the Baseball Hall of Fame, how come those guys found a way to vote for him for the MVP award back when they knew he was cheating? The player that Mike Trout has become is the player that people thought Bryce Harper was going to be back when he was in high school. Michael Phelps probably is the most talented swimmer of all time. Wouldn't it be kind of weird if Michael Phelps only had one gold medal in his career to show for it? I mean, think about it, people. That's essentially what you're saying if you think Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback of all time. I believe that Joe Burrow is going to win the Cincinnati Bengals a Super Bowl before he retires. This is my final warning for the New York Jets. The New York Jets should not draft Zach Wilson. Daniel Jones is a poor man's Jameis Winston. He's Jameis Winston with a worse arm, people. And Jameis Winston right now, you know what he is? He's a backup quarterback. I'm not going to do that. I think Bill Russell is one of the most overrated players of all time, whether you take into account athletic ability or just where someone ranks within a sport. You know, whether you want to talk about volleyball, track and field, swimming, tennis, baseball, basketball, football, it doesn't matter. Among all the major sports, you can make the argument Michael Jordan's resume within his sport is the best of all time. The legend of Dan Marino might be slightly overrated just because everyone talks about how he's so great. He's only got one MVP award to his name. Tua Tagovailoa is clearly and by far overrated. I don't understand why people say that Tua is the most NFL-rated quarterback in this upcoming draft next year in the 2020 class. I just don't see it. You know, let's talk about the big games that he has played in and his performance in these big games. Because when I look around in these big game performances, spoiler alert, Tua Tagovailoa looks terrible. Okay, Giants fans, fine. Name me the current starting quarterbacks that Daniel Jones is better than. Because that list is either very short or does not exist. Hank Aaron, to me, is the real home run king, not Barry Bonds. Because one guy clearly took steroids and had his numbers inflated. Meanwhile, the other guy did not need steroids to break home run records.